what I thought about was cool about Francis Ford Coppola was he used his father's music in Apocalypse Now. His father actually played some instruments for that movie. You know, and he also used the Doors and things like that, like, you know, to show the perspective of the soldier that, you know, was going through a lost trial of Vietnam. And you know, it was interesting because they balance, because his father's music fit, you know, kind of the narration and everything, so it just fit it so perfectly, and then it wasn't overdone where it, you know, when you're listening to the Doors, it takes you to another level, you know. So it was good that I don't know why he thought of doing that and didn't go to the Hollywood executives or whatever to, you know, to, I don't know, it was almost like a homemade movie or something that he, you know, he calls his dad and it's like, I want you to play, you know, on the soundtrack, you know. It just sounds, it's a bold move, you know. It's not a move of a Hollywood director. He's always wanted to be kind of an independent, you know. They always do. We all have good stories to tell, and you know, you have to really work hard on your story, and you have to take your time and use patience. They can sense and I got to go back and change when the fatherly figures says, you know, don't forget the cat food. He doesn't say that. He says, don't forget the cat litter. I didn't catch it until I think this morning or something. I'll have a shot of the it's downtown. A lot of hard work writing. So when you have a really delicious script and it's got a lot of detail and great stuff in it, it really excites the filmmaker, or maybe you know, another filmmaker that gives you the opportunity to go out and you know, and do it, you know. Like Lynn Driver, for example, I have to wait for Linda to be in the right mood, and then when the time opens, then she starts laying down narration, and then we've got another moment of Lynn Driver, but we only have 7 minutes of Lynn Driver, and we've been working on it for months. Because I have to kind of convince Linda that she's an actress, you know, for that moment, and she kind of laughs about it. She calls me a movie star, and then because she's being sarcastic. You know, y'all have heard of me, Cole Spivey, right? You know, and then I have to. We go in the bathroom, and I set up the phone and the Japanese microphone stand, and I give her the narration. I gave her the narration a couple of days ago, and then I say, you know, go ahead and narrate, you know, and then I say something to her, and she starts doing it, and I start directing her, and she starts yelling at me, and then she starts sometimes hitting me, and I'm like, settle down. Okay, now try it again. I want you to say apocalypse, you know, because it's a post-apocalyptic story. And she had trouble saying apocalypse, so I had to tell her to say apocalypse, you know, like lips, apocalypse, you know. And so finally she said it, and you know, so we had to go through that little moment because she had to say the word apocalypse, you know. She said it kind of wrong in it, you know, and I was okay, and I was like, okay, that's how she wants to say it, and we made an agreement. The idea was I wanted to make it clear to the audience that she presently, at that time in her life, thought, you know, or thinks it's the apocalypse, a post-apocalyptic film. That's the title, Lynn Driver, a post-apocalyptic film. Her and her cat doing DoorDash deliveries to abandoned houses. She finds her brother later on. He plays music. So we're still gonna, you know, we're gonna do that, you know. You know, if we get signed on with a bigger thing, then, you know, we'll put it in our back pocket and continue on with it. You know, it's like a 40-minute feature, maybe. It's not real complex. I thought about maybe throwing a drone in there. She gets followed by a drone. I've been wanting to buy a drone before my second wife left me, you know. Real quick on the wives and the filmmaking. The first one, she was half Sicilian, had a little bit of a temper, really pretty lips, and just, you know, really nice lady. Mostly like really no filmmaking with that. It was mostly writing short stories and poetry. Although one time she hit me when I was in a poetry workshop. It wasn't too bad. I think it's because I wasn't paying attention enough to her. But we had cats. We had a lot of cats. Then when I moved on, I moved to Maine, and then I came back from Maine. I started my second marriage, and then my family, who was this, I guess she was English-Irish lady that had been through a lot of struggles. Also, she was Baptist, so she was a Dallas Baptist University graduate. So, you know, ranking-wise, kind of higher up there in the ranking of things. Also, she was a writer, too. She wrote poetry and essays and all kinds of stuff. And she was always telling me about this book that she wanted to write, which made me kind of fall in love with her. And then we ended up having kids. And then I started messing around a little bit with YouTube. I had already started YouTube after my first wife, the half Sicilian, left. I started posting kind of like this feature called Bulb, which was, you know, this like experimental thing. It's just basically dailies. After Bulb, you know, took off, this is when I ended up going to Maine. And then, you know, when I came back, I went ahead and put everything on hiatus, I guess, to start a family. And then when I started auditioning, because I had left the bank and got into rideshare and started auditioning, I was required to put stuff on YouTube unlisted for the audition. For, you know, commercials, like a McDonald's commercial, a show, like there was another thing that we did that was going to be like about the founder of McDonald's. It was like a history show. I auditioned for the father of Jeffrey Dahmer, for a Jeffrey Dahmer series. My friend had gotten to television, or he got into cable. He was doing a cable show called The Price of Fame, and there was another one that I think he did that was similar to The Price of Fame, but it was about you know, like evil villains and stuff, and you know, there was just different stuff I had auditioned for. So it got me posting on YouTube, and then eventually I started posting, I guess maybe various family stuff, and then I got the sit down, you know, and it just, you know, was like, you gotta stop this YouTube stuff, you know. And I heard David Lynch got the same thing, but it wasn't YouTube, it was something else. And David Lynch, you know, he just went into another room and just started crying. And Peggy ended up leaving him. It was a really sad situation. You know, it really is. If you ever see Martin Scorsese's Life Lessons, you know, Nick Nolte, one of my favorite movies of all time. Just brilliant movie. Not a very long one, but one of my favorite Martin Scorsese movies. Nick Nolte. It's called Life Lessons. It's about a painter, and he makes a statement. You know, it's something I want to do. You know, I have to do it. You know, it was a calling. You know, it's a calling. And the lady, you know, I think it's Patricia Arquette or something like, or not Patricia Arquette, but it's her sister. It's an Arquette. Ask him, you know, why do you do this? You want to do it? You know, it's like, no, I have to, you know. So he had to paint. He didn't have a choice in the matter. He had to do it. And he was a great painter. He was a very good painter. In the story, you gotta watch it. I wish I had owned that one. It's a New York story. It's a triplet of Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, and Woody Allen. Francis Ford Coppola does Zoe, and then I believe Woody Allen does one about his mom. It's a really good little series called New York Stories. It's a must. If you're a filmmaker, you have to go out and get it and watch it immediately. It's a requirement for most film classes. I don't see how it would not be. You know, it'd be absurd if you did not see New York Stories, and you were in a film class. You know, it really is good though. Filmmaking is, you know, it's without a doubt, pure imminent death, you know. So it's comical just to even listen to a filmmaker talk, you know, or even try to attempt to do anything about it. But it's also fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun way to go down, you know. It's definitely something. This is kind of what I look like holding the camera. Kind of like sticking my face in the camera kind of thing. Cool bathroom. Someone out there is reading Pet Cemetery. That was kind of cool. From Maine. Right by Nickel City. New little kind of section, Fort Worth, that's growing. Right off Vickery, down the road from a place called Stage West. One of my friends. I've done work there. I've only helped out around the theater. I've never, when it was back over by TCU, I didn't help with the Vickery one. The Vickery one's the original. It's down that way. The other side of Dickey's, over there. So one of the theaters I never really worked with. Other ones like Circle and Hip Pocket and all that stuff. I don't know, Jerry was one of the founders of Stage West and had hired me to be in a college play. And I kind of wanted to approach it in a very real way, where I loosely memorized. I was experimenting, he didn't like it, so he fired me. And I'd already taken his classes, like, you know, a few of his classes. Passed away a few years back. I think shortly after I left for Maine. He was a television actor. He'd done some Walker, Texas Ranger, and supposedly worked with Lou Diamond Phillips. I don't know when, what. So I never really kind of got heavily involved with Stage West, other than as a patron or as a you know, like an audience member, you know, and then as a student at the school. But it's no different than, you know, Circle Theater, really. Not a whole lot different. Circle does great stuff, and I've worked with Circle. It's that whole thing about you stand on a certain stage and you do a performance, and it changes you as an actor, you know. I think the world is your stage. One stage is no different than another stage in my mind. Shakespeare taught us that, you know, the world is but a stage. We are the players, you know. It's not like the stages are magical, you know, where you stand on the stage and it changes you as an actor, you know. It certainly feels that way at times. I always felt when I stood on Oak Acres property, you know, the Oak Acres Theater for Hip Pocket, it was slowly changing me into a mime, you know. Next thing you know, I'm doing like a one-man mime show, which I really did. The imagination. I think Escape from Maine is a lot about imagination, you know, how the imagination can work on you. Yeah, just that aspect of life. Really what I'm doing is I'm buying time looking for the right shot. And then I'm talking in your ear. There we go. I can't think of any more dialogue today. There we go. Well, it looks like they had me go to a Starbucks inside a hospital. So this is a hospital I was born at. It's All Saints. I'm in the parking garage. But I think now it's Baylor Scott White. And he'll contemplate and sit right there. At the time when I was born here, it was known as All Saints Hospital. Now it's Baylor Scott White. It's about not as big, same size. They've added a few more buildings. My grandfather also, I think, pretty much passed away here. Well, they've actually added quite a bit. That structure there has been added. Oh, it still is All Saints. It says it right there. Oh, it's still the same name. Never mind. All Saints Medical. Huh. All that jogging in Maine. Oh, if you have any questions, I am making my movie. And it's better than yours. Well, I think it is. All right, now we're headed to drop off the Starbucks coffee at your doorstep. Just like David Bowie's song, we're better. A lot of David Bowie songs are better than yours too, and shall be until the end of time. Yeah, David Bowie, he had it down when it came to music, even though he only considered himself a visual artist. Many paths in Maine look similar to this. Not all of them, but many of them do. It's called mudding. They go mudding. It's a little like that. That about 5 times worse. Trinity. Other side of the Trinity. Going past the shops, Clear Fork. Probably take a central break. Then I might cut a show and send it up. You might be getting this today. The date check real quick. March 3, 2023, 171289. I usually report those at the end of the day because well, I report it here and then I report it another way. It's really cool. You should check out the shops. It's a real tight little venue. It's one of my favorite places of Fort Worth, really. It's a lot of fun. They've got 2 different places to get gelato. They got one really great macaroon shop for cookies. You can also get a bike over here. You take a left down this way. It's a bike trail with bicycles and a bicycle cafe. Got tons of Italian food. Lots of there's Vietnamese food called Malai. They've got probably home cooking in there somewhere. That's probably more of kind of the bike mart over in that direction, maybe. They got a little place called Mutt's for you to bring your dog. If you're a dog person, they hang out here right by Legacy. The Georges are pretty cool. They're like apartments, like, you know, not high rise, but, you know, not many floors, 4 or 5 floors. The whole place is littered with townhomes. They got a Neiman Marcus, Palo Blanco. It's kind of like a little Las Colinas kind of thing. If you know what Las Colinas is, it's small there. It's not really large. There's a little hospital district over here, and then there's an AMC movie theater and a bowling alley. The Kelton, Pinstripes, AMC Plaza, Neiman Marcus. I'm trying to think of some of the restaurants that stick out there. Doc B's gets a lot of attention. Really nice, you know. And then right over here is a little medical office district over there. water side. You can tell by the stickers that we're in the parking lot of Whole Foods. It's kind of my office. That's where you are, right there. That's where the little mark is, isn't it?